Das Müdigkeitsproblem ist in Korea viel ernster als in Deutschland. Die Koreaner sind heute nicht nur mit Burnout oder Depression, sondern auch mit einer neuen psychischen Störung konfrontiert, die in Deutschland kaum bekannt ist. Sie heißt Information Fatigue Syndrome, IFS, auf Deutsch Informationsmüdigkeit. Es handelt sich um eine psychische Erkrankung, die durch ein Übermaß an Information verursacht wird. Die Betroffenen klagen über zunehmende Lähmung analytischer Fähigkeit, Aufmerksamkeitsstörung, allgemeine Unruhe, Angst, Nervosität oder Unfähigkeit, Verantwortung zu übernehmen. 1996 prägte der britische Psychologe David Levy diesen Begriff. Zunächst betraf die Erkrankung jene Menschen, die im Beruf über längere Zeit sehr viele Mengen an Informationen bearbeiten mussten. Heute sind von IFS alle Berufsgruppen und Bevölkerungsschichten betroffen. Grund ist eben, dass die digitale Vernetzung die Informationsmengen enorm steigen ließen und das Smartphone verschärft diese Entwicklung. Vom Smartphone wird in Korea viel intensiver Gebrauch gemacht als in Deutschland. Die Menschen haben ein fast zwanghaftes, obsessives Verhältnis zu ihrem Smartphone. Sie lassen es in keinen Augenblick aus der Hand. In der U-Bahn geben sich alle, genauer gesagt all diejenigen, die nicht schlafen, ihrem Smartphone hin. Niemand blickt anders vor, niemand blickt den anderen an. Mir war fast unheimlich zumute. Ich hatte sogar das Gefühl, dass der Blick selbst verloren geht. In dieser Zwanghaftigkeit erscheinen sie mir wie Zombies, die ihre Seele dem Apparat verkauft haben. Man kann sich des Eindrucks nicht erwehren, dass das Smartphone inzwischen ja ein neues Körperorgan geworden ist, und zwar das Wichtigste, und sie wirken mit ihm verwachsen.
음악 MP3 음악을 듣는
두 분이 강대 요즘에 스마트폰 안 쓰시는 거예요?
그런 용도로는 써요.
네.
카메라와 음악.
네. 아, 그러시구나.
근데 이제 뭐 SNS나 그런 건 전혀 그 세계는 모르지만 이제 뭔지는 알죠. 근데 제가 그런 걸 열심히 하는 사람들의 심리를 좀 이해해 보려고 제 딸도 그렇고 왜 이렇게 자기를 공개하려고 할까? 저는 어떻게든지 숨기고 싶은데 왜 이렇게 공개하고 싶어 할까? 그 심리는 뭘까? 궁금했던 것이 많이 좀 풀리는 기분이 들었어요. 그러니까요.
커뮤니케이션의 공간이 자유의 공간이라고 우리가 처음 믿었는데, 이 자유의 공간이 이제 이 사회가 우리 규율 사회, 우리 통제 사회가 이 자유를 사용함으로써 이 커뮤니케이션이 자유의 공간이 통제의 공간으로 넘어가요. 그러니까 이제 자유의 공간이라고 하는 그런 구글이나 소셜 네트워크가 판옵티콘적인 형태로 바꿔집니다. 그러니까 이제 그게 모르는 사이에, 우리가 모르는 사회에 우리가 자유롭다고 생각했는데, 자유롭게 이제 대화를 한다고 생각했는데 그 자유가 넘어가요, 통제로. 그러니까 오늘날 감시는 사람이 흔히 생각하는 것처럼 자유에 대한 자유를 억압하는 게 아니라, 자유에 대한 공격을 하는 그런 통제 사회가 아니라 오히려 사람을 스스로 자발적으로 판옵티콘적 시선에 자기를 내맡기게 하는, 자발적으로. 그러니까 사람들은 자기를 노출하고 스스로 전시함으로써 열렬히 디지털 판옵티콘 건설에 동참하는 거예요. 그러니까 내가 어떤 빅브라더가 이제 통제 사회가 이제 그 판옵티콘을 건설해 갖고 이제 다른 그 사람들을 거기에 속박시키는 게 아니라 우리가 우리가 스스로 그 판옵티콘의 건설에 동참하는 거예요. 좀 동참을 하기 때문에 더 이 판옵티콘이 효율적인 것이죠. 그러니까 디지털 그래서 이제 투명사의 마지막 말이 디지털 판옵티콘의 수감자는 우리가 수감자인데 우리가 피해자지만은 동시에 우리가 가해자입니다. 왜냐하면 우리 스스로가 판옵티콘이 건설에 동참을 했기 때문에 우리가 피해자만이 아니라 가해자예요. 그러니까 여기에 자유의 변증법이 있다는 말을 했는데 처음에 자유지만은 그 반대로 돌아간다. 그래서 변증법이라는 자유라고 생각했지만은 그게 통제로 변형된다. 그게 변증법입니다. 자유의 변증법이 여기도. 그래서 마지막 그 문장이 뭐냐하면 투명사의 마지막 문장이 뭐냐면 자유는 곧 통제가 된다. Freiheit erweist sich als Kontrolle. 독일말로 된다고. 자기 착취는 그러니까 자유의 감정을 동반하기 때문에 내가 내 스스로를 착취하기 때문에 타자를 통한 착취보다 더 효율적입니다. 그러니까 이러한 자유의 변증법이 통제 사회에서도 적용이 돼요. 왜냐하면은 자기 조명을 하니까 타인이 나한테 와서 너 뭐 하는지 말해라. 나한테 강제로 내가 숨기고자 하는 정보를 그렇게 뺏어 가는 게 아니라 내가 다른 사람한테 스스로 정보를 주고 자기 조명을 하고 그다음에 자기 전시를 하고 스스로 내가 필요해서 내가 하고 싶어서 나에 대한 정보를 주는 거예요. 자기 스스로가. 이렇게 그러니까 자기 조명이 되는 게 자기 조명을 하는 게 타인을 통해서 그런 고문하고 정보를 뺏는 것보다 효율적입니다. 그러니까 자기 조명이 효율적이고 자기 착취가 효율적이에요. 그러니까 투명 사회와 그다음에 피로 사회가 똑같은 자유의 논리를 스스로 자기 착취, 스스로 자기 전시, 스스로 자기 조명하면서 통제가 되고 착취가 되는 거예요. 자유를 사용하기 때문에 효과가 더 많은 거죠.
Von den Smartphones etwa, die mehr Freiheit versprechen, geht ein neuer Zwang aus, der Zwang zur Kommunikation. Dieser Zwang ergibt sich letzten Endes aus der Logik des Kapitals. Mehr Kommunikation bedeutet mehr Kapital. Der beschleunigte Kreislauf von Kommunikation und Information führt zu einem beschleunigten Kreislauf des Kapitals.
You mentioned just in passing, teenage girls, if they have a free Saturday afternoon, they like to walk around in the shopping mall rather than going to the library. So I found that very thought-provoking, because I think that many people, and I would have to include myself, believe that deep down, what we all really want is material comfort for ourselves. That this is what we all want more than anything else. We may make an effort and go to the library. We may make an effort and vote. We may make an effort and go to work or even visit a sick friend or say a friendly word to someone who is in trouble. But what we really would like to do is sit on a big, comfortable sofa and watch an entertaining program on a big, beautiful television set, and maybe have somebody bring us some hot fudge sundaes or bonbons while we're watching the program. That this is what I'm really like, what everyone is really like. Selfish and really seeking material comfort. And that is human nature. That is bedrock human nature. And I think a lot of our political attitudes come from the fact that we think we can never get away from that. That's what we are. Now, do you share that view?
Not in the least. and I think there's plenty of evidence against it. There has been a massive effort for over 100 years to try to convince people that that's what we are. It's called advertising. It's a huge industry. It's dedicated explicitly, openly, to trying to, you read the business press 100 years ago, and it's taking off to try to direct people to the superficial things of life, like fashionable consumption. Get them out of our hair by getting them involved in consumption. And huge efforts go into this. For example, about 20 or 30 years ago, the advertising industry realized that there's a sector of the population that they're not reaching because they don't have money, known as children. And some bright guys figured, well, we can get around this. The children don't have money, but their parents do. So what we have to do is direct television programs for children and so on to try to induce what's called nagging. Try to get this is literally the case, create nagging propaganda. By now, if you look at academic applied psychology departments, there is actually programs studying different kinds of nagging and how you can induce it. And if you watch children's television, I've seen this with my grandchildren, it's 2-year-old kids are looking at things and they're being induced to try to get your parents to get me this thing or else I'm going to die, and so on. And then the parents get it and you throw it away in 5 minutes. But every aspect of our life is devoted to this. Actually, my wife and I were taken by a friend a couple of weeks ago to see the baseball, the pre-season baseball, spring training, right? And you take a look at the stadium, every inch is covered with an ad. I mean, I remember the first baseball game I went to was in the 1930s. There were no ads anywhere. Now every inch is an ad. Every taxi cab you look at is an ad. Every minute of your life is inundated with efforts to turn you into the kind of person you're describing. So is that human nature? I don't think so. So take a look at these Trump voters again. So these working class people in, say, rural towns, manufacturing towns in Arkansas, and take a listen to what they're saying. These are people men who want to work in coal mines, which is not fun, rather than to take a government handout. They don't want to sit on the couch and being given a government handout. That undermines their sense of dignity, of self-worth, of doing something significant. And I think that's what people are. You go back further, there's plenty of evidence for it. There's a wonderful study, a huge study of the reading habits of the British working class in the late 19th century. Jonathan Rose, very detailed study. What were British workers reading? Turns out they were better educated than the aristocrats. In, say, eastern Massachusetts, Boston, where I live, an Irish blacksmith, if he could make enough money, would hire a boy to read to him while he's working. I mean, I can remember this from childhood. In the 1930s, most of my family were for immigrants, first generation unemployed working class. They're quite educated. Many of them didn't go to school, maybe fourth grade, but they read, they went to concerts, they went to Shakespeare plays, they talked about it, they were interested in politics. I think it's taken huge efforts to try to drive all of this out of people's heads. I think the natural thing for humans is to want to be independent, creative, whether creative, maybe you work on fixing up old cars in your garage on the weekend instead of sitting and watching television, whatever it may be. You want to do something that's significant, that's worthwhile, maybe even if it's a ugly, horrible job like working in a coal mine instead of taking a government handout. Because people, I think, want dignity and a sense of self-worth and a sense of creating and doing something important. That's what we are. And I think it's taken huge efforts, enormous efforts. A huge part of the economy is devoted to trying to drive these things out of people's heads, to make you think that all you want is more commodities. And so you should go shopping instead of reading, let's say.
So that most people, by this account, really have been unnaturally squashed into being something much, much smaller than they could be or they should be.
And want to be.
And want to be.